Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to What's My Home Worth Live. We are doing this on Wednesdays at noon. I decided to start doing this because I think that some people want to know what their house is worth, but they don't want to talk to a realtor. They don't want to commit to anybody. They just kind of want the information and want to do their own thing with it, which is totally fine. So this sort of event is for those type of people. As you know, all know, I'm an open book. So if you want to contact me and have a one-on-one and chat about your house and your home's value, by all means, it would be a pleasure for me to do that for you. We did have a Bank of Canada announcement today. Today is April 16th, 2025, and the Bank of Canada decided to hold the overnight lending rate at 2.75%. I don't know if that's really good or bad. I'm not really sure. There's so much going on in the world politically and with our governments and all those things. So maybe just holding was probably just the more neutral route to go. And I don't blame them for really just kind of maybe waiting out to see what happens with our government and everything else. So welcome everybody who's tuning in now. I just want to let you know that when you guys post a comment on the live while this is happening, I don't know if you're rewatching this later, I obviously won't be able to read and respond to your questions, but if you are on live with me during the actual live portion of the call, please feel free to plug in questions that you might have. If you've got a question for me or whatever, please feel free to do that. I was a little bit more efficient today as this is our second What's My Home Worth live call. And I actually did all the math and did all the facts and the figures and the numbers ahead of time so that we could just discuss it, and I'm not spending time on a calculator doing calculations and all those things. I figured I'd rather spend your time more wisely and do it that way. Just a quick note, if you do want your home's value featured on this next call, or if we have time later, I can definitely do it. If you want to pop in the comments and you want to give me your info, I can definitely do it live as well. But you can go to livesignup.ca. I do not need your contact information. I don't need your home address. This is just a baseline evaluation. This is not an in-depth, accurate home evaluation. This is just kind of giving you a bit of a foundation just to kind of give you an idea of where things may look from a starting point. I don't know what the inside of your home looks like. I don't know what kind of renovations or updates that you've done to your home. So this is not taking into consideration any of those things. So yeah, if you want to be featured next week, go here, fill out the information that's required. Your name, phone number, email is not required for this. Just the information I need to be able to give you the numbers for your base evaluation. So we're going to start with house number one. This is a two-story home in Campbellford. It was purchased for $495,000 in August of 2019. So the evaluation that I received through my program which is just the house price index, is $838,900. So that is actually an increase in value of $343,900. So that's a pretty significant increase in value over the last 6 years. And when you average that return back, you're about $57,000 a year that it's gained in equity each year if you average that out, which is pretty significant. So two-story home in Campbellford, purchased in August 2019 for $495,000, could now potentially be worth $838,900. That's house number one. Okay, house number 2 is a one-story home in Odessa. They purchased the home in December of 2006 for $194,500. When I plug those numbers in, my system comes out with $653,700. So that's a pretty significant increase as well. Obviously, they have been in this home for 19 years. So that's a given that the equity is going to be much higher, which is an actual increase in value of $459,200. So when you average out the equity gaining each year, it averages around 24,000 and change every single year that it gained in equity. So this is just going to show that when you hold on to a property long term, it is building that equity. It is, improving in value over time. So one-story home, Odessa, purchased December 2006 for $194,500, could now potentially be worth $653,700 for an increase in value of $459,200. That was house number 2. Now on to house number 3. So house number 3 is a one-story home in Quinte West. They purchased in March of 2017 for $200,000. The potential base evaluation that I receive is $521,400. So that is an increase in value of $321,400 over the last 8 years. So that is pretty significant. When you look at the average over that 8 years, you're around $40,000 a year in equity that you are gaining. So that's pretty significant. One-story home in Quinte West, purchased in March of 2017 for $200,000, could potentially be worth $521,400 today, which is an increase in value of $321,400. That was house number 3. All right, so house number 4. We're actually going to do 6 houses today. Unless somebody pops into the chat and wants their information featured, I will stop and do that too for you while we have time. But I do have a kicker at the end, which is really fun for me. So the house number 4 is a 2-story home in Prince Edward County. They purchased the home in June of 2016 for $515,000. I actually showed this house. I was like, this house sounds familiar. And so I went in and I checked the back end system, and sure enough, I do recall showing this property back in 2016 when they had it up for sale. But they purchased it for $515,000 back in 2016. And the value that I got for this home for a base evaluation for today is $1,187,900. That is very significant increase in equity and in potential value. Again, please don't quote me with these values. This is just a system that takes data, and I don't know if it uses AI because it's been around since AI was around, but this is just kind of taking facts and figures about this house and then facts and figures about other homes and kind of bringing us a value. So that is an increase in value of $672,900. That is extremely significant over a 9-year period. It just blew my mind. I was like, what? 1.1 million? Holy cow, that is huge. That's over double of what they paid. And so the increase in value, I don't know if I said this, but I'll say it again, is $672,900. I think I did say that. But when you average out the growth over the years, like over the last 9 years, it was averaging about almost $75,000 a year in equity. So that just goes to show that buying property is a good investment. I don't know about you, but some investments that you may have maybe parked at the bank, I don't have them parked at the bank, but some of you who, have investments in the bank that get a 2 or 3% return every year, like this is pretty significant when you think about it. So that is house number 4, which was a 2-story home in Prince Edward County, purchased June 2016 for $515,000. Could now, in today's market, potentially be worth $1,187,900. And then we go into house number 5, a 1-story home in Prince Edward County. Was purchased in July of 2020. So this is in the height of COVID. So I was thinking to myself, ooh, we're probably going to see a decrease in value in this home just because of the timing and the price. And I was like, ooh, this will be interesting. So they purchased the home for $1.625 million. So $1,625,000 back in July of 2020. And so when I plugged in the numbers and I was like, okay, spit out your value for me, the value almost shocked me. Like it shocked me. I was going to say it almost knocked me off my chair because I was just like, holy cow, crazy. And again, these are just base evaluations. This could be above and beyond. This could be more than what it's worth. This could be less than what it's worth. Again, these are just baseline evaluations. Stepping stones. So if you want an accurate evaluation, you're going to want to contact me and I will do that so that we're confident about the actual value that I'm giving you. But the potential value it came out with was $2,297,200. So that's $2,297,200. Sorry. 97,200. That is an increase in value of $672,200. That is crazy, in my opinion. I think that's crazy. And they've only been in the house for 5 years. So when you look at what would the average gain in equity be over the 5 years that they have been there, that gain in equity is just shy of $135,000 per year. That's pretty significant. So that just kind of blew my mind. I kind of thought that was very, very interesting because I was expecting the value. My expectation was that the value was going to be less, but proved me wrong. I don't know everything. And I will never pretend to know everything. Even when I'm giving you a personalized evaluation, knowing every detail about your home, I could be wrong. There's lots of times where I've surprised myself and I've thought that the house was going to sell really quick and it took a little bit more time than what we thought. And the ones that I sometimes thought this is going to take a little bit of time to sell really quick. So sometimes the buyers out there will surprise you. So bonus house number 6. So this home is a 2-story home purchased in Belleville in December of 2021 for $540,000. The evaluation that it gave me was $513,000. So that is a decrease in value, meaning the value is not worth what they paid. It actually is $27,000 less, potentially, than what they paid. Now, this I found interesting. So Mr. John Smith, whoever owns this property, Mr. Anonymous, purchased this house privately from my knowledge because I could not find it on my system. I could not find it on Realtor history, none of that. So this potential buyer went in and purchased a home for over and above what the house potentially was worth, which just goes to kind of support when you're purchasing a home privately without a realtor. Obviously, I'm biased, but you could potentially be paying thousands of dollars over ask without actually knowing the true value of the home and having a professional's opinion on how much you're actually offering the homeowner. Because I'm sure that the person purchasing that house for $540,000 probably didn't know that that person paid $240,000 back in 2011. So that is something that working with a realtor is very beneficial for you as a buyer. When you're house shopping, I do this all the time. When we're house shopping and we're interested in putting in an offer on a property, we are going back and we are looking at who owns the property and how much did they pay and when did they purchase it. Not that it always holds a whole bunch of weight in the decision of how much you're going to offer, but if they bought it last year for $500 and this year they're asking $750 and the house has not changed a bit, then sometimes something's got to trigger and you're going, okay, why would I pay that a year later and nothing's done to the house? That kind of thing. So having a realtor represent you as a buyer in today's world, as a buyer, it costs you nothing to work with a realtor. And so I highly recommend it. I am here to help and support you. If you are purchasing a home in Hastings or Northumberland County or Prince Edward County, it is very, very important that you are making well-educated real estate decisions that you are not going to regret. Now, this person at this home may be there for several more years, and they will, at the end of the day, potentially see an increase in value. Obviously, as time goes on, you're going to see that. But if they had to sell this year, like this week even, based on like an evaluation, they wouldn't be able to technically get, well, it all depends, but they may not be able to get what they paid for back in 2021. And I'm seeing this trend, as I've mentioned before, 21, 22, and 23 homes purchasing are having a hard time being able to see and recuperate that value that they paid a couple of years ago if they had to sell in today's market, like right now. So that's a wrap. That was bonus house number 6 with a decrease in value of $27,000, Mr. Private Buyer with no real estate agent. Again, if you guys have questions, if you're watching the recording, please, and if you really want to know what your home is worth and want to be featured, go right here and fill out the form. I'm not going to ask you for your contact information, just the information I need to be able to give you the potential value of your home, just that baseline evaluation. I'm here to help you in any way I can, support you. If you've got questions, please reach out, and we'll see you next week, Wednesday at 12 o'clock.